YouTube, what's crack-a-lack, and Scott from SemiPro here. Today we are continuing tier week, and today we are ranking the NBA teams in the bubble. Our tiers are no chance, would take a miracle, solid playoff team, and top dogs. And then in the bottom, just to get these teams out of the way, the Bulls, the Hawks, the Hornets, the Cavs, the Knicks, the Pistons, the Timberwolves, and the Warriors. They are in the at-home tier. They will not be involved in this ranking. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get right into it. We're going to start with the Celtics, go to the Nets, to the Clippers, to the Nuggets, so on and so forth. Let's start with the Celtics. I think this team is a top dog. A lot of people might want to put them in that solid playoff team tier, but I absolutely think the Celtics team can and should expect to be in the NBA Finals this season. Kemba, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, great head coach, and Brad Stevens. They're a very deep team. They, in my opinion, have one of the best top 7 players on their roster in the league right now. Super important when it comes to playoff time. I think the Celtics team is absolutely a top dog. Next up, we've got the Brooklyn Nets. I'm going to put them in no chance. Obviously, if they had KD and Kyrie, totally different story, but they're going to have neither of them. Very depleted roster. They're having to sign guys like Jamal Crawford, who I have no problem with, but it's not who they wanted on their roster right now, obviously. No chance for Brooklyn, maybe next year when KD and Kyrie are back. Next up, we've got the Clippers. I'm going to put them in top dog. This is my personal favorite to win it all. Love Kawhi Leonard. I think he's an ultimate winner. I think Paul George is a great complementary piece to him. They have one of the deepest squads in the NBA. I trust Doc Rivers as a coach. I think this Clippers team should absolutely expect finals or bust. Next up, we've got the Nuggets. I'm going to put them in solid playoff team. I do think they're a solid playoff team because they have a lot of depth, like the Clippers, like the Celtics. They have that going for them. But what I don't see is that one takeover guy. Jokic is an absolute superstar in this league, but I don't think he has the scoring ability to take over a game like a Kawhi Leonard or like a Jason Tatum or like a LeBron or like a Giannis. I don't think he has that ability, but the Nuggets can absolutely beat any team in the NBA. Next up, we've got the Rockets. I don't know what's going on right now with Harden and Westbrook with their coronavirus diagnosis. That came out yesterday, I think, for both players. I don't know how long they're going to be out, if they will come back at all, but I'm just going to assume that they're going to be healthy at least for some of it, and I'm going to put them in solid playoff team. I really like the combo of Westbrook and Harden, honestly. A lot of people don't. I think they play well together. I think Harden's tired of losing. I do think the Rockets can be in the mix in the Western Conference. Next up, we've got the Lakers, top dog, LeBron, Anthony Davis, enough said. Bucks, I'm not super high on the Bucks. I don't know if they have enough around Giannis, but the reality is that they have Giannis, they have Middleton, they have a lot of shooters around there. If they get hot, and not to mention the head coach, if they get hot, this team is absolutely a top dog, another team that needs to expect to be in the NBA Finals this season. Next up, we've got Miami. I'm going to put them in solid playoff team. I like Jimmy Butler. Don't think he is a good enough superstar to will a team to a finals by himself, but he has Miami clicking on all cylinders, playing to the best of their ability. They've got a decent roster. Bam Adebayo has really come into his own this season. Obviously, Eric Spoelstra is a very reliable head coach. I don't think Miami belongs in that top dog section, but they absolutely are a solid playoff team, like the Nuggets, who can really beat anybody in the playoffs. Next up, we've got the Mavs. I'm going to put them in would take a miracle. I think they're going to be a really good team in a few years. Luka Doncic obviously is going to develop into one of the best players in the league if he isn't there already. The Mavericks have a lot going for them in terms of young talent. They've also got Kristaps, but their seed is just too low this season, and I don't envision them being able to beat any of those top teams in the Western Conference. Next up, we've got the Hornets, the Pelicans. I'm going to put them in no chance. Like the Mavs, they're a young team, a lot of potential. In a few years, they'll probably be close to the top of the NBA. I just think their seeding, if they even get in, is really going to hurt them. They aren't going to be able to beat the Lakers, not going to be able to beat the Clippers, not going to be able to beat the Nuggets. I think this year's just a wash for them. Get some valuable playoff experience, cut your losses. No big deal for the Pelicans. Next up, we've got the Thunder. I'm going to put them in would take a miracle. This team has good veteran leadership in Chris Paul. They have good young talent and players like SGA. I just, again, don't envision them being able to beat any of the top dogs or solid playoff teams in the Western Conference. They certainly could pull off an upset in the first round, though. They are that kind of team that just gets going at the right times. Next up, we've got the Magic. No chance for them. I mean, not really a lot to say. Next up, we've got the Blazers. I'm going to put them in would take a miracle. They're fighting for that 8 seed. I'm not going to completely write them off, though. They've got Damian Lillard. He's an excellent playoff basketball player. He helped them get to the Western Conference Finals last season. They're getting Nurkic back. They're getting Collins back. Very slim chances for the Blazers to make it past the first round, but I'm not going to write them off because Dame Lillard is simply prime time. Next up, we've got the Pacers. I'm going to put them in no chance. No Oladipo last I heard, so, kind of a wash for them. Next up, we've got the Kings. No chance as well. I actually do like this Kings team for the future as long as they can put their or keep their nucleus together. Fox, Giles, they've got a lot of good young talent, and they're probably going to have a couple more decent draft picks for the next couple of seasons. Hopefully they can sneak into the playoffs, kind of get some experience for that core, but no chance for the Kings this season. Next up, we've got the Suns. No chance again. I honestly don't know why this team was invited to the bubble. I get their record kind of puts them in there, but they're just not that good. They've got a lot to do. Next up, we've got the Spurs. I'm going to put them in no chance as well. And Greg Popovich, DeMar DeRozan, a lot of good veteran players, a lot of good young guys on this Spurs team as well, but, they're just not quite there. Next up, we've got the 76ers, my favorite team. Would love to put them in solid playoff team, but I think there are so many unknowns with this team, and I'm really, really nervous about them. We've got Ben Simmons playing the power forward now. How will that work out? Al Horford presumably moving to the bench. Shake Milton presumably moving to the point guard position. Going to be a big change, and that could really work out, or it could really plummet into the ground. But I just saw so many inconsistencies from this team last season. Nothing that would make me say they're in the same tier as the Heat, Rockets, or Nuggets, so I'm going to put them in would take a miracle. They certainly have a chance to move up a tier, but, I need to see it. This team proved absolutely nothing to me with their current core. Next up, we've got the Raptors. This is our last top dog team. I'm going to say I was wrong about this team going into the season. I didn't think they would be good. I thought they would fall off a lot. I thought they would be back in that 4, 5, 6 seed range without Kawhi Leonard. They proved me wrong. They might even be a little bit better. They play great team basketball, have a great head coach. They have lots of playoff experience. They know what's going on. This team should absolutely expect to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. Next up, we've got the Jazz. I'm going to put them in would take a miracle. I'm not a huge Mitchell fan as your number one superstar. I do like him as a player, though. I like Gobert as a defender. He might be a little bit overrated, but that's another conversation. But I do think that rift that happened late in the season, obviously when all the Corona stuff started between Gobert and Mitchell, I do think that's going to carry over at least to an extent. They might have some chemistry issues. I just don't think they're talented enough first and foremost to be a solid playoff team. Next up, we've got the Wizards. No chance. No Bradley Beal. Last up, we've got the Grizzlies. I kind of want to put them into and would take a miracle. I don't think they're a complete wash of a playoff team. I think they play really, really cohesively as a young team. They know what their identity is. Ja Morant is absolutely prime time, but their seeding is going to hurt them if they do get in. They're going to lose to whoever they play in the first round. No chance for the Grizzlies. But I actually think this tier list is a pretty clear one going into this NBA bubble playoff situation thing. I don't really think there's a lot of debates, but let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. I do want to hear what you have to say. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to click that thumbs up button if you enjoyed, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post awesome sports content every single day. Thank you for watching and have a blessed rest of your day.